A gathering at Palestinian Assem Barghouti's home in the occupied West Bank. It's a show of support in a difficult time, but they're all aware that the very act of visiting her puts them at risk.
It's a very normal thing to do. When one of my sons dies, people must come and visit me. That is one of my social rights. The Israeli military wants us to end our relationships and for families to be abandoned.
The Israeli government hasn't admitted it, but the UN and Israeli rights group B'Tselem reports that Israeli security forces use a policy of collective punishment against the families of jailed Palestinians. These families say they've been harassed, their relatives, including children, have been imprisoned, and their homes demolished. Assem says Israeli soldiers started targeting her family last year after they shot her son Saleh in Ramallah. An Israeli police report says Saleh, a taxi driver, tried to ram them and flee. But a B'Tselem investigation found they'd blocked him in with their vehicles before shooting him at point-blank range. One of her other sons, Assem, reportedly took revenge by shooting 3 soldiers, killing 2 of them. He's awaiting trial for that and another shooting. Since he's been jailed, the Israeli military has leveled his house and detained his family, including Assem. Hassan Abdrabahu, who works for the Palestinian Liberation Organization to help detainees, says he knows the reason for this treatment.
All this is a part of the discrimination and collective punishment policy of the occupation forces for the sake of extortion and extracting confessions from prisoners.
Assem says she was released after 2 weeks of detention, interrogations, and solitary confinement. She says she saw dozens of other women in jail because they're relatives of detainees, and that Israeli police tried to break her emotionally when they came to arrest her husband and her 3rd son, a child.
When one of them told me he would take my little son and squeeze him just like we squeeze olives to get oil, he thought that I would beg him not to take the boy. But I told my son to dress himself, put shoes on, and not to be afraid.
She says she's expecting an Israeli court order for the demolition of her own home, just for being Saleh and Assem's mother. And there is nothing she can do to stop it. All she can do is hide her fear. Sarah Balter, TRT World.